am in Georgia and I have a TruTile pool. When my pool guys last replaced the liner, they did not install a new locking track that goes over the edge of the liner. Do you know where it can be purchased? My pool drops in water level until it reaches the locking track. Once it hits that point, the water stops dropping. I feel that's the problem and not a true leak in the pool or liner. The track is cracked in several places, and all they continue to do is come by, put it back in place, put the old cracked pieces back up, and say it's repaired. They too have said they don't think that type of track is still available, but I see on your website you install these. Can you help me find just the locking track? And this is my follow-up question. Do you think that's the only potential issue here?
Okay, I do think that 90% of the problem is probably that. When you remove and you put a new liner in, my recommendation is if you, number one, go over every piece of that locking mechanism and make sure it's perfect. If it's not, replace it. And you know what? Over time it gets brittle. Even on a brand new pool, if you put it in and then for whatever reason you have to take it back out to do something with the liner, you always run the risk of that the little clips that lock this stuff down. They're magic, but at the same token, they can break very easily. Replacing the locking mechanism would absolutely help. And I don't know, I'm sure it's something that we could probably ship to you because it is readily available. It's just not readily available to everybody in the pool industry. It's only available to people who, at this point, we haven't become certified, but they're not allowing new installers to install that system because of all the hassle and headaches that we've had with new installers. So it can be purchased and can be replaced, and likely that is the problem. The other thing to look at is when that lock is out, every seam and every joint, there needs to be a bead of caulk when you put the new liner in. Wherever the TruTile two pieces meet together, we always want to caulk that joint. I have seen cases, I was called into a case where they had tried to glue this TruTile to, they put wood up against the wall. And of course the wood broke down and the TruTile was falling apart and it was leaking like crazy. Again, that was just a really poor installation. Likely just by using new TruTrack locking mechanism and making sure that it's seated all the way. That's the other part of the problem, is people don't realize. Let me try to do this with my hands. It's really, this is only stuff that's this big, but let's picture the back of my hand being the locking mechanism. And this hand right here is the liner, and so it crushes up against the liner. Well, the way that this is built, the TruTack comes down and goes back in here in your liner mechanism. If this piece, the vertical part, isn't flush with the top, the piece that's installed in the pool, it's not locked all the way. Most people get it to about there. I don't know if you can see that, but you've got it actually locks in, and that clip should lock directly and be perfectly vertical with the TruTile itself. And if it's not that, then you have a good chance of leaking. And people kind of push it in and go, oh, that looks good because it didn't fall out. That's not good enough. It needs to be, you need to use a mallet and put it in place. Once it's in place, it's locked in, that liner is not going anywhere. But if anything short of that, or if the top piece of that cracks, because even on brand new, sometimes when you're putting it in, you'll get a horizontal crack in that clip piece. You got to cut it out of there and replace it, because that is definitely going to let the liner go later. So hopefully that helps.